This is Miami All Access.
First of all, I thought we played much better in the second half. We cut down our turnovers, which I thought was important. But it's the first game, and I'm trying to figure the team out. The team's trying to figure me out. But, I thought from an energy standpoint, for the first, I'd say 30 minutes, I thought our energy was good enough. 32 minutes, I thought the last 8 minutes of the game, we just didn't play very well. We got up in the lead, and we just didn't make good decisions. And we've got to understand what it takes. We had some guys break down, fouling 35 feet from the bucket, not boxing out on free throws, and the little things that you continue to have to work on here in the early part of the season. But we had some guys Willie got in foul trouble there early in the game, but we were able to overcome that. I thought Eric Washington played extremely well and really facilitated and got some guys some shots. And then, of course, Sully was able to knock down shots, so that always makes it look a little bit better for your team. But 51% from the field, 50% from three, obviously looks good. A little bit troubled by the fact they shot 50% from two. We did limit them from the three-point line. And so all in all, we'll take the win. We've got a lot of work to do. Obviously, we've got to get on the free throw line. We've got to be able to knock down free throws. And we've got a terrific team coming up here on Wednesday, so we've got a lot of work to do. Questions?
Will gave you a really nice spark there at the end of the first half.
Yeah.
With the steal and the layup, and then the backdoor to Eric, and then the three with 4 seconds left.
Yeah.
And you were able to carry that momentum over to the second half. How important was that?
Well, it's obviously important. I thought it was important for him because he was able to knock one down and really feel good about himself going into the second half. But it's always interesting. The first game of the year, there's a lot of things going on, guys with jitters, guys that may try to do too much, and you're just trying to get guys settled and take your time. It's funny, you look around at scores and you look at scores early in the season, it's just interesting to see people that are losing games and everything else. And so there's some ways about the first game as a coach, you're happy that it's out of the way, you're happy that you get the win, and now you want to take a look at the tape and try to get better and improve in some areas that we certainly have got to do.
You got Jared a little bit of time tonight. Is he
I'll be honest. I was in practice Thursday, or was it Friday, when they told me that he was going to be able to go a little bit in practice. That's the first time we've had him in a week and a half. So I just wanted to give him a few minutes. I didn't know if I was going to play him, and if I was smart, I probably wouldn't have. It wasn't fair to him. But just to let him get his feet under him, he's lost 17 pounds, since he's been out. So, but I had no idea. There was no thought I had all week up until that day that we would have him. In fact, I didn't think we'd probably have him for another week. So we've got to get him built back up and get him used to, putting his body through that. And I didn't want to take his body and just wear it out. Yeah.
You talked about Eric Washington running the point today. He just did a great job of moving the ball throughout, getting his guys involved and forcing a lot of contested layups. He just really was able to get his guys involved. Can you talk about that for a little bit?
Well, there's a couple of things. He's got tremendous quickness and speed, and he's strong, and he has the ability to shoot the basketball. So you're in a tough predicament because, obviously he can really get going downhill quick. One of the things for us and that we're trying to get Eric to do is, crazy as it may sound, sometimes we got to slow him down. Because he gets going so fast at times now. His decisions aren't as sound as they should be. But understand, you've got to be like a good pitcher. You got to know when to throw the slider and when to throw the heat, and understand and look to get guys involved. And the more you get guys involved, the more it opens up your opportunities to be able to score. But I thought he did a great job. He was 8 assists, 4 turnovers. I talked to him about trying to be 3-1 this year, which is extremely hard to do, but he at least started off 2-1. And if we can continue to get that from him, and then I'll be happy. Aren't you?
The assists, the turnovers.
Oh, don't even remind me. And we've been charting that all preseason. We have a board up in practice, and it's the careless turnovers. Willie had careless turnovers. I thought Jared had 2, whatever. I think they gave one to Jared to someone else to Jared actually, but Jared ends up with 3, and we've got to take those turnovers away and just take care of the basketball and not hurt ourselves, and be solid in what we do. But 14-17 is not good enough. That's not going to cut it. Aren't you guys quiet today?
You got a pretty balanced scoring through the course of this game. Do you think that you can continue to get balanced scoring and along with similar lines? How you feeling? It seems like you got a little bit more depth this year.
Well, I mean, I think we definitely have that, the depth, and so now it's a matter of figuring it out. And even today, is we're playing and trying to get a feel for guys and get a feel for rotations. It's hard when you have 7 new guys. It really is, and trying to make sure that the team has rhythm and not disturb that. I feel bad because I feel like I completely disturbed that there in the preseason, just trying to get guys looks and everything else, and so that's an area for us as a coaching staff that we're trying to work on and we're trying to figure out. I thought for this game we actually went with the small lineup, but it was a good matchup for who they started with Hess, who's out there who can basically play a 4 for them, plays a 4 who can really shoot the ball. So it worked out, and it also gave us a little bit more scoring out there on the perimeter. So, and it could be a situation where it depends on opponents, and it could be game to game and just how we're going to go with our matchups. The one good thing about that is when we're small, we at least have the presence of LJ in the back who has the ability to challenge shots and block shots, and we've got to do a better job of getting used to playing with him as a team. But it feels nice to know that there's someone back there that has the potential to maybe, redirect a shot at times.
Stopping dribble penetration.
Well, they got going downhill. Yeah, they got going downhill too much. Hess got going downhill a little bit, but the rule on him was to make him a driver. Don't let him get threes. If he's going to beat us, he has to beat us from 2. But I thought we broke down on the scouting report a couple of times and not understanding how we had to start with initial position. There were a couple possessions there in the first half where, we're getting the ball screen coverage before the ball screen was even called out. And so now we're in a coverage. We're not all the way in the coverage, and they have straight driving lanes. And we talked to the guards about that at halftime. You can't get to ball screen coverage until it's called out by the big guy and everything else. And quite frankly, we probably could have switched more with that group and starting with the 4 guards, but wanted to challenge them to get them in the habit of moving their feet and having to defend and having to talk. Was it pretty? No, but it's certainly somewhere to start from and a place for us to build off of for sure.
Chris Bryant played a more than usual 16 minutes today, and he was kind of using a lot of different packages defensively. He's a really high-intensity player.
Right.
See a guy you seem to be more of a guy who minutes could be going up just because of his intensity.
Yeah, and absolutely. I mean, I think one of the things with Chris, and we're trying to find that line as to his energy, making sure he has it and not wearing him out, that he comes out and he doesn't have it, because part of his game is his energy. And, I thought, if you look at the preseason, at times we were pressing, and quite frankly, he was gassed, and now you lose the effect that he can bring to you. So, trying to understand that, trying to get him to understand, making sure we make the right decisions and smart plays. I thought there late in the game, we were up 16 or 18. We break the press and he drives it. That's the time you drive at the guy and pull it out. We don't need the bucket. And now let's run some offense. He ends up turning it over, and he may have been fouled, but so what? You've got to understand how to play the game. And at that point, we're playing against the clock and we're playing against ourselves when you're up 18 that late in the game, and do you execute? And we didn't. And so we'll be watching that on tape. And you know what? I wasn't very positive probably with the team after the game. We got to win, and one of my assistants said all the positive stuff after I spoke, and it's hard, and I feel bad because you want to make sure new guys, it's always good to have a win, but I also understand that if we don't do those things right, this next game that we have our hands full. Trust me, I know what we have coming, and so we have to play extremely well, and I don't want guys sitting back resting on their laurels. We've got 2 days to get prepared, and we've got to get locked in and focused, and one game down, time to move on to the next.
Press is probably something you're figuring will be more productive later on.
Yeah, you figure it out and when and where. What do you do? Here's one of the things about pressing, and I tell people, as the season gets going, you typically have about 2 days to prepare. And the fact that we do press, you have to prepare for it. And trust me, when you play against teams like that, that is a lot of time that you're worried about it. You have to work on it in practice. It is a concern as a coach. When teams are going to press us, it is a concern. You have to get ready for it. So it's always nice to have that element out there. You know, we're pressing, we're going to press, but, you know, are we going to open up, we're going to come out with it and be there the whole game, or are we going to show it in spurts? You never know. But I just know from a preparation standpoint, it's another additional thing that as a coach that you have to prepare for, and quite frankly, you have to make sure that your team understands what's going on and that they're solid with their execution.
Okay, yeah, we had a ton of fun. It's a lot more fun when everybody has energy on defense. That's really why we won tonight. We had an excellent effort on defense. We stuck to the scouting report, and when you're getting steals, getting out and running, you get open shots, and I was lucky to hit a few tonight. But that's when you have fun, is when you have energy on defense.
Does it help to hit a big shot there right before the halftime? Does that give you a little confidence coming out for the second half?
Yeah, it did. When the first couple shots I took didn't really feel that good off my hand, and then I had a steal for a layup. And I kind of think once you see the ball go in one time, it kind of gives you a little pick me up. I had a steal for a layup, and then obviously I had a shot at the end. I knew I was about to shoot it, and it came off my hand well. And I was pretty excited. I'd like to see my reaction, but I assume it was pretty over the top. But it felt good.
Little fist pump.
Yeah.
Will, you talked about how this is a good three-point shooting team, and Edinburgh and last year really wasn't indicative of that. In the first half, you guys really kind of were playing in the paint a lot, putting up a lot of shots, whether they be layups or having Khalif or LJ go up. Do you think you guys really tailored your game in the second half to make that change and shoot more from the perimeter, which really seemed to be Southern Utah's fatal flaw?
Yeah, I think that it helps a lot when you got guys down low that are a threat, because when you have the threat of getting it inside and playing inside out, it creates open shots for us. So Eric comes off a ball screen, LJ or Caleb or Chris Bryant are rolling to the basket. You know, everyone has to collapse to help on them, and I had a lot of throwback threes that were wide open. So, I mean, when guys are getting me wide open shots, I'm pretty happy.
How about Eric Washington today, too? A couple of nice dishes, some
yeah.
midway going to the in the air, Derrick Rose style.
Yeah,
side to you for a couple of them as well.
Yeah, it was a learning process over the summer playing with him, because he's the first point guard that I've played with where you really got to be ready for the ball at any time. Because, I mean, if, like Coach Duckett always says, if you should always be disappointed but never surprised when you get a pass. So if he doesn't find you, you should be disappointed but never surprised. Always expect it. And he had a couple of tremendous passes today. He's a big time.
Defensively, do you think it's sort of a work in progress as you go along here?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we're starting to form an identity as a team that can get out and pressure teams and deny the first pass away. And as you form into identity like that, it becomes kind of your MO, and you come out, always have energy, and it's just something that you bank on every single night. Most of our offense tonight came off of, you know, getting big stops, getting out, running. Eric had a couple big-time takes, finding me in transition, finding LJ, running the rim. And I think that when you play good defense like that, it's something that kind of sets the tone on offense.
Last year, I know, a bit of a rough start this year, getting that first win, that first game of the season. Just in general, it's got to feel good moving forward, and sort of a nice little boost in heading to practice next week. Yeah,
I don't think I won my first game since my freshman year. We played Dayton. That was the first time that was the last time that we won our first game. So this is a pretty big feeling. I think that we can't be satisfied. We got a really tough opponent in Evansville coming up on Wednesday, but you know, it always feels good to get that first win, kind of get that weight off your shoulders, and now we can just head to practice and focus on the things we need to work on.
You guys were able to shoot the ball pretty well in the second half. However, throughout the game, free throw shooting seemed to be something that you guys either split or weren't able to finish.
Yeah, it's something a little bit unexpected. Coach Cooper just harped on that pretty heavy in our post-game meeting, where we'll be here in the morning shooting free throws. But it's something we need to fix. We had a lot of opportunities to really pull ahead. G was tremendous from the free throw line tonight. He made a lot of big free throws, but we all need to step up a lot. I was 1 for 2. I know. We had a number of guys that are good free throw shooters that missed some tonight, so we'll get it fixed. And Coach Cooper said it needs to be a goal. We should be above 70% from the team as a team, so we got to work on that.
This might sound simplistic, but was Edinburgh kind of a wake-up call for you guys?
I think that it was. I think that we had so many new guys, We have a lot of talent and length and athleticism, and to a certain extent, I think some guys kind of felt like something was going to be handed to us. You know, for Edinboro, this is a huge game for them, and it should have been for us, but we didn't come out that way. We didn't have the energy, we didn't have the passion, and in a sense, that was the wake-up call that you really, in Division I basketball, you need to have that passion and energy every single night if you want to be a good team, and I think that was the lesson that we learned from Edinboro.
Go ahead.
Is this going to, in your estimation, is this going to be the kind of a team, Miami, that is going to have balanced scoring when it's going well?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, almost with the exception of a few teams around the country, you got to have that balance of scoring to be a really good team. I think we had, 4 guys in double figures? Yeah, 4 guys in double figures. Caleb had a big first half for us, got us a couple big buckets. He had a couple in the second half that he should have made, but he'll work on it. He's a hard worker. But, yeah, I think that everyone needs to step up to win. And G made a bunch of big free throws. Eric had a great game. LJ played well. Chris played well. I think it was a pretty balanced attack for us tonight, and that always feels good.
How much of a difference is it for you when you get 12 guys play, 8 of them hit double figures in minutes, which is much different from last year?
Yeah, absolutely. I think last year the core guys of three or four of us were playing, you know, between 30 and 35 minutes every single night. I had a couple games last year where I had to play 40. So from a shooting perspective, it's nice to give your legs a little bit of break, even if it's for a quick minute, 2 minutes. That's huge when you're waiting to catch your second wind and it's not coming. I mean, when we sub in, the big thing is we don't want to have any letdown. I thought Zach came in, gave us some huge minutes. Chris came in off the bench, played great. So when guys come in off the bench and have that kind of energy, it's always huge for us. And luckily this year we're pretty deep, so we have a lot of those opportunities.
Down the stretch, Southern Utah was able to go on a little bit of a run. Juwan Major put together a nice little bit of scoring down the end. Obviously, you guys were up and were playing with the lead, but at the same time, you know, obviously, you'd want to see like a stronger finish throughout the game, you know, in terms of just a basketball standard.
Absolutely. We made a lot of mistakes that you just don't make.
Yeah.
You can't make if you want to be successful. And I think that, you know, when you have a game like this, luckily we had a comfortable lead. But in the future, we may not have that lead. So take this as a learning process, as a learning curve. We'll watch film tomorrow, I'm sure, and you know we'll learn from our mistakes, correct the mistakes that we had, and continue getting better, going forward. Excuse me.
Last week against Edinboro, you guys kind of looked like you were working out some of those kinks that will naturally come with having a team of all these new guys and everything. But today it looked totally different. You guys seem to be clicking. What felt different?
You know, we had a couple meetings throughout the week where we talked about, you know, playing for one another. I think that a lot of guys were going out that first game kind of thinking, you know, this is my first game out here. I need to prove myself to the coaches, to the fans, whatever it may be. And tonight I think we were all kind of playing for each other. We didn't care who took the shot. We didn't care who got the rebound. But we played as a unit. We played team defense. We played team offense, got the shots that we want. And I think that was the biggest step that we took from Edinboro to tonight, or today.